Welcome, everybody, to Life in the Fast Lane. I am Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. We had our first two NASCAR bets last week. Clean sweep, 2-0. So really, really excited to get the NASCAR season off to a good start. We're going to do a quick recap of Fontana. We're going to look ahead to Las Vegas. We've got the Stenhouse Award for all you diehardos who know about that. We learned a lot last week, but from a betting perspective, we learned that the domestic books are going to be putting out their lines on Wednesday or Thursday. To be honest, I wasn't real impressed with some of their lines and their props. And then Sunday morning, Bovada just bang comes out with a ton. They had tons of head-to-head matchups, props, finishing positions, all kinds of things. And that is 2 weeks in a row. So I think we've really dialed in what we can expect from bets that are offered to us. And my best advice is go get a Bovada account if you don't have one already. I created one. They have really good bonuses. They'll match some of your crypto deposits. So if you're going to be betting NASCAR, if you already have my season-long package or you are going to get one this week, just make sure you have a Bovada account because it appears that's where most of the bets are going to come from. And we got to do this every year. Every year, a different sports book seems to have the best and most NASCAR bets. So go grab that one. That's my best piece of advice for this week. Just a quick recap at Fontana. Here we go again with Kyle Larson. Just out of nowhere, here's Larson winning another race. Tyler Reddick, really, really good surprise. It was good to see him run good. Wins stages 1 and 2, cuts a tire, unfortunately. And one of the craziest storylines last week was Daniel Hemrick was at one time 7 laps down, and we had so many cautions that he somehow got all 7 laps back and finished 9th. That's one of the most incredible comebacks I've seen in a NASCAR race, and we're going to get to all of the cautions of why he was able to do that last week. But congratulations to Kyle Larson and the Hendricks team. Kyle Larson coming off the championship looks like he hasn't missed a beat. So we're going to do the Ricky Stenhouse Award. For those of you that are new to this, Ricky Stenhouse is famous for making some boneheaded decisions and causing a lot of unnecessary accidents. So we do the Ricky Stenhouse Award every week. This is for the funniest, goofiest, or wreckiest thing. I'll make that word up. So the nominees for the Stenhouse Award, Bubba Wallace wrecks Brad Keselowski. Those of you that know Rocky Atkinson know Bubba Wallace is a thorn in Rocky's side, and Bubba takes out Brad. Rocky had a bet on Brad Keselowski, causing him to lose that. Tyler Reddick cuts a tire, leads the majority of the race. Such a bummer for him, but sometimes it's just not your day. Chase Elliott was a nominee for me. So Chase Elliott goes balls to the wall early in the race, despite the fact that he had spun in qualifying, trying to go balls to the wall. And what does he do? He wrecks himself into the wall. And then later on in the race, his own teammate takes him out. Kyle Larson takes out Chase Elliott. So it was a bad race for Chase Elliott. But at the beginning of the race, I have no idea what he was doing or trying to accomplish by that. You could just see a wreck was coming. The winner for me, though, is the NASCAR announcers. They were trying to be company men, and they were trying to tell us that the new cars were really, really good and in good shape. And they were saying there's not going to be very many cautions. So take the under 5.5 cautions. Well, those of you that follow me know that was my best bet, over 5.5 cautions. There ended up being 12. And so we cashed this bet before halfway through the race, and after the race, the announcers apologized. They're like, sorry about that. Maybe we were a little off on that one. It was like, yeah, everybody knew there was going to be over 5.5 cautions. You guys tried to lie to us. So my winner is the announcers attempting to handicap the cautions and then having to apologize for it. This week's race, we're going to Las Vegas. This is a 1.5 mile cookie cutter track. It's very, very fast, which I think we're probably going to see a lot more cautions. I tell you right now that the cautions prop is not going to be 5.5. And we saw when these guys tried to get up to the really high speed, some of them just couldn't handle it. We saw some spins. We saw some guys getting loose and getting into other cars. I would expect some more of that. It's going to take these guys a while, but these teams are good. They've got a lot of money behind them. They've got the incredible mechanics and pit crews. They will get these cars dialed in sooner rather than later. But I think we have a window of 4 or 5 races to start off with where it's just going to be a little chaotic. So when I look at Las Vegas here, it's really tough to go back in history and see who does good here. It's kind of some of your bigger names, but Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano have won this race. So you don't really see one particular team dominating this track. And to be honest, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you look at the history of this track while trying to handicap it this week, because they're in brand new cars. And we saw Austin Dillon finish second last week. We saw Eric Jones run really well. These are guys that in years past in these cars and these teams would not have run good here. So I'm going to be looking a lot at last week. I watched last week's race very intently, knowing I would use it to handicap Las Vegas. So should be a good betting race. I expect to do well again. I want to do a new cars update, teams struggling and teams not struggling. Richard Childress, Tyler Reddick looked great until the tire, and Austin Dillon finishes second. So Richard, that's a nice thing about these new cars is everyone's starting off on a new playing field. And let's face it, Richard Childress, those cars look way better than the Joe Gibbs cars struggled. Nobody inside the top 10 for Gibbs. Hamlin was decent, but he got up there, but he was just never quite in it. And then you got to go back. There's Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch was awful. He had problems after problems. Nice rebound for him to finish 14th, but you're looking there, got Truex at 13th, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin 13th, 14th, and 15th. So I cashed my Denny Hamlin over Chase Elliott bet, but I got to say I don't feel great about it. I thought Denny drove a good race and got the most out of it, but right now, I think those Gibbs cars might be fade materials. So I'm Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. I'm going to do a best bet here in just a second, but all my plays can be found on WagerTalk.com. I will have a NASCAR pack that is up. I just encourage you to get a full season, though. It's priced really well. Never had a losing season at WagerTalk, and off of a 2-0 start, I feel good about my read on the cars and feel good about my read on the teams. So let's do a best bet. This one I found on DraftKings. I'm going to take Eric Jones over Christopher Bell. I was really impressed with Eric Jones. I think he's got immense talent. It didn't work out for him at his last team, and I thought, oh boy, he's going to move to a lesser team. But he has new life. It looks like they have this car really dialed in. That 43 car ran really good. He finished third. And Christopher Bell, part of those the Toyota and Gibbs struggles, his engine went out, and you got to wonder, is his car really 100%, or are they struggling with it? He was the only car that had an engine problem. I mean, Michael McDowell had an electrical problem, but I got a lot of questions about the Gibbs cars, and we might get a nice window here of 3 or 4 races when you can fade this big team with some of the smaller teams. And obviously the Gibbs cars are going to get dialed in, but right now they do not look like it. And Eric Jones and that team, they look like they nailed their setup. He's unbelievably talented. So he's one of those guys where if everybody was driving the exact same car, he's going to be a top 10 driver, in my opinion, for sure. So I think we're getting a little bit of value fading Christopher Bell here, and I'll do it with Eric Jones at Las Vegas. So that's going to do it for us for Life in the Fast Lane. Shout out to Steve Merrill. Shout out to Rocky Atkinson. Go check Rocky. He's on sportsmemo.com. Steve Merrill is on WagerTalk.com. Steve's doing really good in college basketball. So if you're looking for some of that action, go check those guys out. I'm Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. Good luck. We'll see you next week on Life in the Fast Lane.